I hope you're having a great day. Well, today being World Hypertension Day, it's very important for us to understand that high blood pressure is no longer considered as just something that you have and you need a medicine and you need to manage that symptom right through. We need to understand that high blood pressure and hypertension is a silent killer and it's claiming lives, thousands and thousands of lives around the world every single year. Now, what we currently understand is we go to a doctor, we check our systolic, our diastolic, we have high blood pressure, we get slapped on with a drug. Perfect protocol. But what we don't understand is the damage that high blood pressure can basically keep causing in our bodies if we don't make efforts to kind of reduce it. The biggest gap in the world right now when it comes to high blood pressure is you have high blood pressure, you get a medication, but the patient is not being told to change their lifestyle, to do everything that they can to naturally reduce their high blood pressure. Because you see, high blood pressure medication also has its side effects, from extreme fatigue to a loss of your sex life, low libido, drowsiness, issues with your blood, and all of these things. So it does come with your side effects. So it may just be simple that, oh, take this little pill, it'll keep your pressure down. But over time, the more and more you take these pills, it is damaging you. Yes, I agree, there are some people who will need high blood pressure medication because of genetic reasons or certain organ transplants or certain conditions for a lifetime. But I'm talking about everyone else who has high blood pressure today because of poor lifestyle, stress, and all of these issues. It's surprising to know that most people who have brain strokes and cardiac arrests, it's not because of high cholesterol. It is because of high blood pressure and inflammation. So everyone out there really thinks it's about cholesterol. Cholesterol's been given a bad name for the longest time. But by doing that, we basically taken our focus off one very dangerous thing, which is inflammation and high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, you have inflammation in your arteries, your endothelial cells, which basically builds up the pressure, and this is what narrows and hardens your arteries that supplies blood to your brain. And over time, it is your high blood pressure that results in a brain stroke, a stroke, paralysis, cardiac arrests, and all of these issues. The second thing, people are failing to understand that today chronic kidney disease, CKD, it is so common for us to hear about people who are suffering from deteriorating kidneys, and all of a sudden they're on dialysis or they're told to get kidney transplants and all of these issues. High blood pressure is a massive cause for CKD. There are other reasons why we have CKD. But high blood pressure, so if you have high blood pressure for a long time, you need to know, this is not to scare you, this is probably to motivate you, that you need to know that you are a potential candidate for kidney disease. Let's understand how it works, because most people will tell you, oh, don't worry, it's just a small dose of medication. Okay, your kidneys work like a filter to basically filter out waste products, excess fluids, and all of that stuff. You have blood vessels that supply blood to the kidney. Because of high blood pressure over time, these blood vessels get harder and harder, and after a while, the body is unable to supply the right amount of blood to the kidneys. And so what you start having is issues with your nephrons and your blood vessels, and your kidneys don't get blood supply. They can't flush out all the toxins, all the excess fluids, and that's when the kidney starts deteriorating. So we need to understand that even diabetes, I think today the worst thing that someone can have is diabetes and high blood pressure at the same time. I don't say this to make you feel bad. I say this with the hope that you will motivate yourself to do something about it. Because in most cases, here's a pill for diabetes, here's a pill for high blood pressure, here's a pill for cholesterol. Your medical parameters look good, but yet the patient suffers and eventually reaches kidney disease, or they start having diabetic eyes and all the side effects of having the condition. Because what we need to understand, that high blood pressure makes your diabetes more complicated, and that's how you get a diabetic eye and all of these issues and kidney damage. So please understand that, okay, it is not a healthy body to have all these conditions. Unfortunately, some people may have it, but for everyone else who has the ability to make lifestyle changes, we need to understand that high blood pressure is not something that we should be aiming to live with. If we have it, there are several things that we're going to discuss, several simple ways that you can do with your doctors to hopefully reduce your blood pressure levels to an extent where your doctor decides that, hey, you need a minimum dosage, or I can eventually get you off a pill. For men out there, you need to understand that high blood pressure is the #1 reason why men have erectile dysfunction, why their libido crashes. One is the side effect of the high blood pressure medication. So don't think that your high blood pressure medication is not without side effects. The second thing is, because you have high blood pressure, most men with this problem tend to suffer from erectile dysfunction. Their sex lives get messed up, their libido gets messed up, and in turn that brings on a whole load of emotional stress and everything. So you start building yourself into a vicious cycle of suffering. Now what we want to understand is a few cases of high blood pressure will be highly genetic, but the rest of them are caused by our lifestyle. What are some of the things that we can do? Again, nature's given us things which do not cost us money. If we use them, we can prevent suffering, we can prevent disease, and prevent a lot of medical bills. #1 is your exercise and walking. Let's forget about the gym for a moment. Even if you walk 30 to 45 minutes in a day, this is good enough to prevent you from getting high blood pressure or to start the healing process. Exercise is extremely important. If you are sedentary, you are a candidate for high blood pressure. If you are sedentary with high blood pressure, there's no way that your medication is ever going to reduce. So we need to move away and understand that a sedentary lifestyle is a curse today. It has been equated to someone smoking cigarettes. So you need to understand that you need to move more, you need to be more active. You may not be able to go to a gym, you don't want to buy a gym membership, you don't want to spend money on classes, you still have your 2 legs, get up and walk. Activity is extremely important when it comes to lowering your blood sugar levels. Sodium, a high sodium diet. When you have most of your food at home, you're not going to have this problem. But today you eat restaurant food. Almost every restaurant will put more salt than required in their food, because you need to understand, most restaurants, what's the business model? To sell food. How do you make good, tasty food? By adding more oil and by adding more salt, which is why deep fried food, anything that you deep fry tastes so good. Okay, most of your processed food, your chips, your biscuits, all of that stuff has more sodium than the body requires because it's designed to taste good. So you and I can get addicted to that, our children can get addicted to that and eat more and more. It's a food lobby, it's called money. As simple as that. We've had people whose high blood pressure has reduced only by telling them to cut down their outside eating. From 10 meals a week, they came down to 1 meal a week and dropped in their high blood sugar levels because of the sodium. It's as simple as that. Now don't go no sodium because you'll start hurting your kidney. You got to go low sodium. And you can move from a sodium chloride to a potassium chloride, which is pink salt, because potassium isn't the problem, it's sodium that's the problem. Coffee and tea. It doesn't mean someone with high blood pressure needs to give this up, but if you're having more than 2 cups of coffee and tea in a day with high blood pressure, it is going to affect your levels 100% sure. Hydration, extremely important. If you're looking at lowering your blood pressure and preventing high blood pressure, we need to be hydrated. Even a 1% drop of water in the human body, it becomes a stress scenario for the body and everything changes. Your pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar levels, inflammation, and everything else. Now, eating foods rich in potassium will actually help you lower your blood sugar levels. But again, if you're a kidney patient and you have a restriction on potassium, then you got to be careful of that, which is why we need to understand today that having one or two conditions in the human body is a recipe for disaster. Because here you are with high blood pressure, and if we can increase your potassium, we can see your blood pressure lower. But if you have a kidney problem or you have diabetes, you can't even do that. And that's why you get into a vicious cycle of medication and you suffer from the side effects of every single medication. So by boosting your potassium, again, you don't need a supplement. You get it in simple foods like your green vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, your potatoes, a glass of sattu. If you have a balanced diet, you're going to get sufficient potassium to help you with your blood sugar levels. My favorite is beetroot juice that works beautifully for people with high blood pressure. Nitric oxide dilates your blood vessels, it allows blood to flow through more freely, reducing your overall blood pressure. These are natural things that you can do. Yes, dark chocolate as well, rich in flavonoids, helps you lower blood pressure by dilating your blood vessels. So 70% and above, don't overeat it, you do it in moderation. Dark chocolate can also help you. Again, we all know the impact of smoking and excessive alcohol on your high blood pressure levels. But yet there are people out there who continue to do this, thinking that, hey, I'll go back to my doc and he'll increase my medication, which your doctor will happily do to bring down your blood pressure levels. But think about everything that we just spoke, okay? Just because you're on a pill and your blood pressure is in is in control doesn't mean you're healthy. It still means you have a problem with your heart and with your body. So use the medicine as a crutch. I'm not here to tell you get off your medication, jump off your medication. If you have high blood pressure, you're better being on a medication so it doesn't create more damage. Uncontrolled blood sugar levels or hypertension, blood pressure levels don't create more damage to the rest of your body. Use the medicine as a crutch. But work with your doctors, constantly make lifestyle changes so that your doctor can monitor your blood pressure levels and eventually get you off that. People with low calcium levels, we need the right amount of calcium to maintain high blood pressure. So if you have the right pressure levels, so if you have low calcium levels, you may want to get your levels checked and increase your calcium in the body through your foods, through supplements. Of course, the best way to do it is through your foods, because low calcium will impact your blood pressure at the same time. We spoke about this a couple of days ago, the importance of magnesium. Most people who have low magnesium will suffer from pressure problems at the same time if they already have a pressure problem. So if you have high blood pressure, you want to make sure that your magnesium levels are really good. And again, magnesium is found in simple foods like your nuts, your seeds, your grains, and your lentils. So if you're sticking to a natural, wholesome diet of balance, you should automatically get the right amount of potassium and magnesium. Sleep. I can't tell you how important sleep is when it comes to high blood pressure. There is enough of medical science talking about sleep deprivation causing an irregularity in your stress hormones and shooting up your blood pressure. You can pop all the pills that you want in the world, but if you don't sleep right at night, your blood pressure is going to harm you more and more. You need to understand that sleep is given to us free. It's a cycle of nature. It's inbuilt in every cell of us. If we sleep more, you can lower your blood pressure over time. Sleep is connected with stress. If you sleep better, you may have all the stress in the world, but you are better able to manage your stress the next day. Coming to stress, another very, very high contributing fact towards high blood pressure. We've had patients in our office and we check their high blood pressure while we make them talk about a stressful event in their life. And the systolic and diastolic shoot right up. 10 minutes later, we make them do 6 counts of deep breathing and we take their systolic and diastolic and it comes right back down. We don't need more evidence to show us the connection of stress leading to high blood pressure or preventing us from healing us. So when it comes to meditation, working out, deep breathing, yoga, pranayama, your hobbies, acceptance and letting go for most of your problems, be it work, emotional, relationship in your life, these are the magic drugs which will help you eventually get off your high blood pressure pill or reduce your dosage to the minimum. Now coming to foods, there are several foods that can bring an instant drop in your pressure. A lot of them. You have basil, you have flax, you have ginger, you have garlic, you have onion, you have celery, you have cardamom, which is lychee, you have cinnamon, all of these things. But it'll bring it down just for a bit. You need to heal from inside. Use these foods for a while to control them. But you can go on eating all these foods, but if you don't make lifestyle changes, you're gonna have more and more problems with your high blood pressure and the complications of it. Moringa in the form of the vegetable or the leaf is excellent for high blood pressure. Tea, a lot of people ask, is green tea better or oolong tea? You get a tea called oolong tea, that's O-O-L-O-N-G tea. That is also great for your high blood pressure. It will reduce it a bit. But finally addressing the root cause is what's going to eventually heal you completely. Hibiscus tea is also a very light tea which is caffeine free that helps you lower your blood pressure. But again, don't go on drinking cup after cup without changing your lifestyle. Finally, we've seen massive results with people who have got into the cycle of intermittent fasting and dry fasting. People who are intermittent and dry fasting with high blood pressure, of course, controlled in a supervised way, have reported a drop in their blood sugar, in their blood pressure levels. This is extremely important. So these are lifestyle changes. Now, everything I mentioned doesn't really cost you too much of money. Most of them are free. The most powerful tool besides sleep is your deep breathing. Right now, if you have high blood pressure, I could put a bet on it. If you check your systolic and diastolic now and you do 6 to 8 counts of diaphragmatic deep belly breathing, I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second, you will see your systolic and diastolic come down. You need to understand, to lower your blood pressure, if we can get in more oxygen, deeper breaths, we trick the body out of the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. The moment the body moves into the parasympathetic nervous system, blood sugar levels drop, cholesterol regularity gets better, and your blood pressure drops immediately. It is very difficult to have high blood pressure when the body is in a complete state of relaxation, which is why sleep your deep breathing and your meditation become the most powerful drugs. Now, deep breathe, this is something you can do right now. And it's funny how the things which are free in life, people just don't end up doing it. People want to spend money, they want complication, they want complicated things, and they believe that that's what's going to heal them. But something as simple as deep breathing. We've had clients worldwide who have gotten so deep into their pranayama practice that they don't even take a single pill anymore for their high blood pressure. They've not gotten off it, their doctors have put them off it. So when you diaphragmatic breathe, or it's called deep belly breathing, it's very simple. You can sit cross-legged, or you can just sit with your back straight. Whenever you're doing deep breathing, you got to keep the spine straight for complete oxygen flow. You close your eyes. It's as simple as that. When you inhale, you keep one hand on your chest, one hand on your tummy. This is until you get the right method. As you inhale, your tummy, your stomach, your abdomen should basically rise. So think of it as a balloon. When you're putting air in the balloon will inflate. Now, as you exhale, the stomach or your abdomen goes in as the carbon dioxide comes out. Think of it as a balloon. As you let the air out, the balloon will deflate. It is as simple as that. You can try it right now, you can try it later. For 6 deep breaths, it doesn't take you more than 1.5 minutes. You can do this 5 times in a day, you can do it 10 times in a day, you can do it when you wake up, when you're stressed, you just finished a stressful meeting, you're getting on a flight, you just got out of an argument, you're preparing yourself for a meeting. You can be in the most stressful board meeting right now. If you're not talking, you can be listening, but you can be breathing. And that tricks your system into the parasympathetic nervous system, keeps your cortisol down, and regulates your high blood pressure. And because this doesn't cost money, there won't be evidence around it. The only evidence is you doing it yourself and watching your systolic and your diastolic falling. And it's as simple as that. So yes, it's a deadly silent killer, all of that stuff. If you have high blood pressure, you should work really, really hard to bring that down naturally. Anxiety, stress, all of these things cause your high blood pressure to rise immediately. If you have anxiety, you have a problem, don't say it's my nature, fix it. Fix it. If you have a problem, there are several things that you can do to fix it. It's called, the number one thing that you need is called self-discipline. If you want to do it, you will do it. And why we can tell you that is because there are thousands of people who eventually get off their medications and thousands of people who don't. What's the difference between them? Most of them tried. They made lifestyle changes and they achieved it. The other people are still complaining, blaming, believing that the pill is going to take care of their lives and heal them and all of that stuff. So sometimes all we need is self-discipline and an attitude change. That's all. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.